90 minutes, 65% possession, and Manchester United needed a last gasp equalizer to rescue a point against West Ham. Are we watching a team building momentum or just collecting expensive draws? Tonight, on Two Halves, Two Innings Football, we are breaking down why dominating the ball doesn't mean dominating the game, and 5 in a row was just a red herring. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Two Halves, Two Innings Football. I am with Amit today. Other United fan, Ajay, he had enough. He said he was waiting for 5 in a row win. He had his dream. He was thinking the other guy who was the talk of the town, we can call it. He's been everywhere, but it's too much about him, less about Manchester United. But here on Two Halves, Two Innings Football, we're gonna talk about Manchester United. Amit, always last minute goals for last 3-4 games. What is happening in Manchester United? Why can't they kill the games?
I mean, just like our podcast, Two Halves, Two Innings, the game was like two halves, really. I think the first half, Manchester United dominated, but there was no cutting edge to the attacking play. We had a lot of the ball, but didn't really do anything with it. I mean, the number of shots, I think, showed that,
The 10
and the
shots,
shots on
to
target
West Ham 6.
overall. Second half, the game was actually really good. It was actually a really good game in the second half, actually. It's quite end to end. Once West Ham scored, I think it was a poor kind of midfield, between the midfield and defensive error from Luke Shaw, which allowed kind of the ball to get into the box, and then obviously there's a great finish by Souček. I think that's his name. Souček, yeah. And he was man of the match, and I think he was actually really good. He was very good in the defense for West Ham, whilst they're defending, and also as an attacking threat as well. But after that, again, United had the ball, but they didn't really do much. Kobe Mainoo, brilliant cross for Casemiro, which was offside by a hair's whisker, but VAR did its job for West Ham. And I think Casemiro knew, though, because when he scored, he said he went a bit like
he
this.
Was
he
that
wasn't
50-50.
he wasn't
did
sure.
know.
So he kind of knew. So you can't argue with that. But tactical substitutions. Carrick brought Sesko on, who again started from the bench, and he was pretty poor, if I'm honest. He lost the ball in his first few touches, but wow, what a goal! I mean, I still can't. I don't know how he did it. It was like a light, cheeky flick off the ball. I mean, it's probably one of those finishes, Rohit, that he'll probably try that 100 times again and never even hit the target, let alone get it in the top corner.
Let alone get it top.
Maybe I'm being unfair to him.
No, I think it was a good finish. Very good finish.
Brilliant,
brilliant finish. Brilliant. Again, it was more of a. He just got it. He has the knack of. He knows where the net is. To be honest. This is why I wanted him rather than Jokers, because one, he was young, he's still learning, and he scores amazing goals as well. He doesn't score, tappings. He scores good goals. So that was the example last night. But like you said, Amit, 10 shots to West Ham 6, but you only converted once in 90th minute. Where did it all go wrong for United? I mean, scored 3 goals against Arsenal, 2 goals against Spurs, 2 goals against City. And last night, it did look like they're going to score.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the way that West Ham set up, really. I mean, they were very defensive, and I suppose they looked really good. They remember they were 2-0 up against Chelsea a week ago or so ago, and then again, I know they lost the game, 3-2, but Nuno seems to have he's doing okay. He's just not had the results to kind of match their performance. I was really, genuinely, I was really impressed. I think my prediction was 2-0 win when we previewed the game, but it was a close knit game, and although it wasn't a battle per se, like against like Arsenal or Man City or anything, I didn't feel as comfortable for some reason in this game. I don't know why. As the game was progressing, but you mentioned your first question was about how do I feel about the last minute goals. Well, I mean, it's brilliant because it's back to kind of the old days again. I know we keep going on about it, like Fergie time, but but like Michael Carrick said, Rohit, in his post match interview, it's good because they're not giving up, but there's got to come a point where they're not going to be able. They can't rely on these last minute goals.
It can't happen every game. Right?
It can't.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable, is it? Potentially not sustainable. But if you look at Liverpool, they started the season not playing very well, but
Exactly.
they won
Similar. Yeah.
4 or 5
Yeah.
games, maybe, I think, last
Yeah.
minute goals,
Last
and then
minute
obviously
goals.
we know
Yeah.
what's happened to them since
Yeah.
then. So
Yeah.
it's not sustainable. We need to kind of, we need to finish the game off, sooner.
Yeah.
But credit to
100%.
West Ham,
Yeah.
the way that Nuno set up the very defensive counter-attacking, and there were episodes when they did counter-attack Manchester United, and quite easily they bypassed the
They
midfield and better
It was very
finishing.
easy. It was very easy.
Callum
They
Wilson when he came
Yeah.
as a
Callum
strike
Wilson and then
substitute,
Traore. They could have
Traore
scored
as well. Again, I
three,
think,
four goals
yeah,
easily.
I think it could have definitely been if
Yeah.
West Ham took their chances
Yeah.
or were more
More
disciplined and
clinical. Yeah.
watching the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
could
then
have.
Manchester United were going for the win. So, but that's positive again, though. It's at least we've seen attacking content from Manchester United, and we've seen that whether they're winning, whether they're drawing, whether they're losing. So that as a football fan, that's what you want. Unfortunately, you can't win every game. Well, virtually impossible. But as long as we're showing the positive attitude and the right intent, that's all we ask. And again, and if you remember, going back to probably one of the best games under Amarin was the Bournemouth game 4-4 at Old
Yeah.
Trafford
Yeah.
just before
Yeah.
Christmas. What Gary Neville said is he doesn't mind if Manchester lost that game during commentary, because what he's seen players playing with intent and the right positive attitude, which is what we're used to, what we associate with Manchester United. So,
Yeah.
but
That
that's
was
been
against
consistent
Bournemouth.
under
Yeah.
Carrick. Yeah.
Yeah. But even if you see the subs as well, he only made 3 subs. So
Yeah, he
what do you
brought Euro
think?
on. I was surprised he brought Euro on, actually,
Yeah,
for
and
Harry
then
Maguire.
I remember you were praising him for bringing Cunha in against
Mhm.
Arsenal. He took,
Yeah.
I don't know who he took off.
I think Shaw came off, I think. Oh, was it
No,
Shaw? No,
it wasn't
Dorgu.
sure.
Dorgu
Yeah,
got injured.
Togo go
Yeah.
injured, and then he put Kone on,
Mm.
and you praised him to say, okay, he did like for like. He didn't go for like draw. He went for the win. But
Yeah.
here he brought Euro in. But then again, if you see those Euros tackles, the last
Yeah.
last man tackle,
Mm.
they actually saved you to go 3-0 down, basically. If you see
Mm.
that.
But
But yeah,
maybe, I mean, maybe,
yeah.
maybe it might be tactical because I
Mm.
mean, I don't think Harry Maguire had a bad game, actually. And
Mm.
actually, he gave his Cruyff little turn as well, some in the second half on the line. So he had the ball and
But he could be
he
he could be injury as well, because I remember they were saying on the commentary, they say he was limping in a bit as well
oh,
during the
was it?
game.
I mean,
So
I
yeah,
thought it might be because of the pace, because
right.
probably Euro is faster than Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's not known for his pace, and Carrick was going to obviously attack more, and there's going to be more open space. So there's more chance of Euro kind of catching the player up, especially as the book. I can't remember if Callum Wilson came on before. No, he came on after Euro, I
No,
think,
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
But the point is, and as you said, he made a couple of last-ditch tackles, so I suppose the substitution was justified. But I mean, Cunha had a quiet game. I don't think Mbemo was
mm.
very good. I think Ahmad was pretty average as well. So I was surprised that he didn't bring on Sesko a lot sooner.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but is the midfield three again? Casemiro,
Uh,
Mainu, and Bruno, who
yeah,
kind of
and
the
Bruno, I don't
standout
think Bruno
performers.
had a good game last night.
He was okay. He's not been. I mean,
Yeah, he wasn't
I've
like,
praised him
yeah,
recently. I thought he's
yeah,
been brilliant, but he was okay.
yeah.
He wasn't
So do you,
brilliant. He was okay.
so are we seeing that decline now after 4 games?
We don't know. I mean, remember the thing I
The
said in
new
my
manager
last
bounce
podcast
gone.
was, but remember I said to you in the last podcast was that
Uh,
is this, are they having this nice burst of energy or drive because they're playing
Once a
once a
week.
week?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
this time it's the first time
This
they've
is the
played
first
after
time.
3 days,
Yeah, and
and
then
look what's
you
happened.
see what
Now
happened.
again,
Yeah,
we could be reading too much
yeah,
into this. I don't know,
yeah.
but it's I raised the point. In our last podcast, so there might be some justification in that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they haven't got. I don't know. I don't think they're playing this weekend because it's FA Cup this fourth round this
Yes,
weekend.
yes, yeah. But
Yeah, so
no,
they've
yeah,
got.
they're not playing this
So
weekend.
I
Yeah.
expect them to win the next game now.
But you see, this is why I say. I mean, remember I know we joke about like Arsenal set pieces, but because that's what happens with such a great low block, it's really hard to break teams down, and
Yeah.
you need other bits of play as well, other bits of skill as well, where you can break those teams down by throw-ins or by set pieces or by corners, whatever you're gonna call it. We need those. Every team needs those. I think this is why it's not set piece FC. But again, United have been scoring for set pieces as well. I think they're top now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so even if you have scored that goal from set piece and won the game last second, who cares? End of the day, it was a win. Right.
Mm,
So yeah,
100%.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the key thing is, I mean, for you as a United fan, that we didn't lose, that we got a draw, and the momentum continues. So they're unbeaten
Yeah,
in
yeah. 5
5 games.
games now. Yeah,
Well, 5 games under Michael Carrick.
yeah.
Um, so it's European. If they carry on the way they are, then Champions League qualifications in our hands. And I suppose it's probably not the result again, kicking the teeth for West Ham, unfortunately, after a decent performance when they're so close to getting 3 points, which I
They
think would have got them out
oh
the relegation zone.
no, no,
Um,
not last night, but
uh,
they would have been closer to Spurs. Now talk about Spurs. They sacked Thomas Frank today.
the Frank engine.
Wow, Franklin is gone. Thomas, the injury is gone. So I
Mm,
couldn't. I was expecting anyway. So last night they were awful. They were
yeah.
awful. They played like a team who are being relegated in a relegation fight, and those players don't know how to fight in relegation zone. I don't know if you saw the
Mm,
watch the match or no, but it wasn't
no.
a surprise to me this morning when I saw the news that he's been sacked.
I think the thing is, Roy, he hasn't endeared himself to the fans, and remember, they're the ones that kind of pay for everything, keep the business going, so to speak. Um, So it's he's been booed quite a lot by the fans
Quite a
over
lot,
the past
quite a
few
lot.
games, and
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
last week. And
Mm.
again, we talked about the DNA of clubs, and Tottenham are, from my time, when I started watching football in the early 90s, what I remember of Tottenham was there's an attacking kind of flair to Tottenham. Also they didn't kind of win anything other than the FA Cup under Terry Reynolds, but there was that attacking flair. We've not seen that with Thomas Frank. He's known for his defensive stability
Yeah,
and,
he's
and
known for
building
his
upon
like
that.
structure, like playing
Yeah.
everyone, like you said,
Mm.
defensive stability. And but I mean, even if you see this, right? Nowadays it was very hard when, like we discussed, right? It needs to be from the top to bottom with the fans as well involved. Everyone needs to be together in this. So he lost the fans. We don't know if he lost the players or not, because then there were some rumors I read this morning saying he was talking about Arsenal when they played at Emirates. Look how good Arsenal are, how good Arsenal, how good they are. Players were saying, "Oh, calm down, man. We don't want to listen about Arsenal. Tell us what to do to win the game." Maybe he lost the dressing room as well. We don't know. But the last night performance was worst I've ever seen this year. This
Really.
Tottenham play, they were awful,
Mm.
awful
I
last
mean,
night.
our friend Alex, I messaged him. I said, "Are you happy?" He said he wasn't. I joked with him. I says, "Who do you want to come in, Amarin?" I said, because Amarin's available. But he said, "I'll take him now to the end of
Yeah,
the season
yeah,
and
to end the
wait
season.
for
Yeah, but
Pochettino."
yeah,
But De
Pochettino,
Zerbi's
yeah,
left
definitely.
Marseille.
Deserby left Marseille, but I think they will wait for Pochettino after the World
Poch.
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poch will come back. I think he mentioned that as he want to come back, but they had to do this today because the next game they're playing is against Arsenal in 12 days time. They have a
Which is
rest.
bad news for you because
Yeah,
of the new manager
as
bounce
usual. So
again.
we will talk about it when we reach there for preview, but it's like always the case, right? but if you have to, again, it's the context, right? Last year they had many players injured. This year I saw the list. I'm not a Spurs fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't care how they play, where they are. I'm very happy, right? But if you see the context, they had bloody half the team injured, probably more than half the team injured. All their first team players are injured.
Last year.
So this year, now
Oh no, yeah.
Madison injured, Romero got
Oh
a
yeah,
red
and
card,
he's a
right?
key.
Kulovechki is injured, Kudus
Yeah,
is injured, Richarlison was injured, Bergwell is
they've lost
injured.
Son.
Son is gone anyway.
Yeah,
Doesn't.
that's what I mean. They
Yeah,
lost him at the
yeah,
start of the season, didn't
exactly.
they?
That's it. So
Yeah.
they don't have players to play. So it was bound to happen. But again, yeah, I'm
But then
happy that they.
that might have suited his style though, Rohit. He's because he prefers that workman-like
Yeah,
midfield compared to a creative
yeah,
midfield anyway. But
yeah,
again, is it another case of, we've touched on this before in previous podcasts, that a manager in a club with less expectations, it's
yes,
not,
will
I'm
do
not going to say
well.
it's easier,
No, no,
because
no. It's
that's doing it.
yeah,
It's because there's less pressure and there's less
yeah,
expectations,
yeah,
they've got more opportunity to be more adventurous, or maybe come out their comfort zone. But when they step into bigger clubs, so be it from Brentford to Spurs, is an
yeah.
uplift, and we
It's a
saw it
big,
with
yeah, big
Emery
jump.
when he
Yeah,
left his
yeah,
Seville to Arsenal, and then
yeah,
now look, he's doing wonders at Aston
yeah.
Villa.
Aston Villa. Yeah,
And we saw with David Moores from Everton to Manchester United, and there's many of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we could talk many, but it just seems to be such it's happened too many
Uh,
times where I think you can say it's a coincidence.
Yeah, it is. Someone. I watched it on Twitter this morning. Someone, a guy, a Brentford fan, he said he put a post on Twitter. It was funny. He said every time he said it's all about Brentford. It's the Brentford DNA. Any manager comes in, we play well. We've been playing well for last 5, 6 years, 7 years since from League One to Championship,
Yeah.
Championship to Premier League, and since Premier League we here. The managers think they are better than that. They go away and they fail. They happened when they were in League One. They were at the top. They went to playoff. Their manager thought, "Oh, I'm really good." So he went to another club, and now he's nowhere near. He's probably managing somewhere like third division in Germany or someone. And then they said, then the new manager came in. There was sporting director who became a manager, coach. They played for. He played. He got them to championship actually. Stayed, put them in championship, stayed in championship, and then he said, "Oh, I'm better than this now, Brentford." So he left, and then he failed in in the next role, and then he's never managed. And then, what's his name? The Aston Villa manager, Dean Smith.
Yeah, Ethan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he was
before.
Brentford manager first.
Oh, was
So
he
he
Brentford
was
manager?
he
Oh,
was
okay.
doing well. He got them in championship as well. He stayed there, put them and then he went to Aston Villa, and then look where he is now. So and Thomas Frank was actually his assistant, Dean
Oh,
Smith's assistant. Yeah, and then Thomas Frank became manager. He got them into Premier League. Stayed Brentford in Premier League. Got them stabilized. Got them into stable positions, and then always been the mid-level team. And then he thought, okay, I'm better than this. I need to go away. And look what happened.
but
Keith Andrews here. He's actually doing better. So they were saying Thomas Frank was holding Brentford back because
But I
now they're
remember
playing better.
I think all of us predicted
Yeah.
Brentford to be in the
To
relegation, one of the teams
relegate
for
it. Yeah.
relegation because of
Yeah.
Keith Andrews.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's the media spin as well, though, Rohit. I think they
Yeah.
put managers on a pedestal. I remember
Yeah.
before Amrin came in, so when Ten Hag got sacked, I'm sure there was a big push for Thomas Frank to be, Manchester potential
Yeah.
Manchester United manager.
Yeah.
So it's obviously you got to start from somewhere. I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it's the expectations are so much more difficult.
See, yeah.
When you join such an elite
You
club, and
need,
you'll be talking about elite clubs like
yes.
Arsenal,
Yeah.
Liverpool, Manchester United, and Man City.
Yeah. And this is why, Amit, when you mentioned, should Mikel stay here? I said, definitely he should stay here. Look at him. He's his first job, such a big club. The expectations are very high, and he's doing amazing job. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, right? And we're talking about managers who have the experience. He doesn't even have the experience. He never managed anywhere.
Mm.
And straight away, first job is Arsenal, and he's doing wonder. He at least we are there, right? We are there. There is like we are going for title. We are going for every trophy. We are trying to win every trophy, every game. It's not that we are like sixth, seventh. We're trying to finish like obviously first 2, 3 years were like seventh, eighth, I think. Then we got into Champions League, and look where we are now. There is a progression. There is step towards that top bit.
Mm.
That's what you need to see. You can't just say that, okay, that if somebody comes in, he or she, I mean, now we never know, we might see a female
That's true.
coach
I mean, look at
join,
England manager. She's
managing the
brilliant.
men's. Yeah, exactly.
The women's manager, she's
Yeah,
brilliant.
brilliant. So we never know, but I'm just saying that we can never know until that person is in that role.
Mm.
Everything else is theory. There's a big
Yep.
difference between theory and practice. We know that,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah,
anyway,
if everything was won on paper, then there'd be no
yeah.
competition in anything.
No
would there?
competition. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're gonna finish this episode here. Thank you, Amit, and Ajay. He might be enjoying his stream, having fun. Not fun, to be honest, but yeah. So guys, thank you. Please like, subscribe our channel and our social media channels as well. Follow them, and please let us know what are your thoughts about West Ham and United draw, and what do you think about Thomas Frank? What's next for Spurs?